האיש החפץ חיים, אוהב ימים, אוהב ימים לראות טוב. מי האיש החפץ חיים, אוהב ימים, אוהב ימים לראות טוב. נצור לשונך מרע ושפתיך מדבר מרמה. סור מרע ועשה טוב, בקש שלום ורודפהו. מי האיש החפץ חיים, אוהב ימים, אוהב ימים לראות טוב.
So Hebre, we are here in the afternoon service. It's a chance to hear a bit of Torah about holiness, which we'll learn from Rabbi Rodich about in a minute. It's a chance to be part of the Azkarah, to remember those who gave their lives that Jewish life might continue. It's a chance to re-experience a little walk through Jewish history. We want to do it out here in the courtyard so that people who are afraid to be indoors during this Delta could have a chance to be here. So thank you for being intrepid and joining us here. And if there are talesim inside, if you don't have one, that might help you warm up. But we're on page 325. What's the way of a person who delights in life, who loves each day, who yearns to see goodness? Guard your tongue from evil, your lips from cunning speech. Turn back on immorality and do good without delay. Seek shalom, seek peace, and pursue it. We get ready to take the Torah out on page 329 with Ki Mitzion.
כי מציון תצא תורה, כי מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני מירושלים. הללו, הללו, הללו. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la, ya la la la, ya 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 la 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 la, ya 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 la 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 la, ya 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 la 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 la. Ya 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 la 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 ya 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 la 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 ya la 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 ay, ay, la, 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 ay, la, 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 ay, la, 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 ay, la, 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 la.
On page 330, as we hear Rabbi Rodich intro the Torah, I'm going to invite Rabbi Angel to come forward to make the Aliyah.
Thank you. On Yom Kippur afternoon, we read from Kedoshim, which says, "You shall be holy. You shall be holy." And it's interesting. I want you to know that this is not the traditional reading in the Yom Kippur afternoon. It's a change that the Reform movement made. The traditional reading are actually the laws of sexual morality and laws that say things like Rabbi Angel and I are not allowed up here. But we are allowed up here. And the Reform movement said, instead of making this a moment to condemn people, that let's make this a moment in the afternoon when we talk about elevating people. We say, you are holy, we are commanded to be holy. We are commanded to make ourselves as set apart. Different than what? Well, I don't know. What do you want to be different than? What brings you holiness in your life? What helps you experience a sense of awe?
Tamod Arav Shira Bat Harav Kalman B'Shulamit Alet Torah.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'hayata lachem lechokat olam b'chodesh hashvi'i be'asor lachodesh ta'anu et nafshotechem v'kol malaka lo ta'asu ha'ezrak v'hager hagar b'tochechem ki bayom hazeh yikaper aleichem letaher etchem michol Chatotechem livnei Adonai titaru. Shabbaton hi lachem v'hanitem et nafshotechem hukat olam.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet V'chayei Olam Nata B'tochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
For the second Aliyah, we all say it together. Ready? Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ami V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. V'chiper HaKohen Asher yimshach oto va'asher yimalei et yado lechachen tachat aviv ve'lavash et bigdei habad bigdei hakodesh וכיפר את מקדוש הקודש ואת אוהל מועד ואת המזבח יכפר ועל הכהנים ועל כל עם הקהל יכפר. והייתה זאת לכם לחוקת עולם, לכפר על בני ישראל מכל חטאותם אחת בשנה, ויעש כאשר ציווה אדוני את משה.
Beautiful. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam natan b'tohenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Please rise for the lifting of the Torah as Rabbi Bauer comes forward.
Yisrael, Yisrael, ve'oraita chadhu. Yisrael, Yisrael, ve'oraita chadhu. Torah, ora, Torah, ora, hallelujah. Torah, ora, Torah, ora, hallelujah, hallelujah. Torah, ora, Torah, ora, hallelujah. Torah, ora, Torah, ora, hallelujah. Hashivenu, Hashivenu, Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Kadesh, Kadesh Yameinu
We are on page 416 as we enter into the afternoon vidui. Please rise. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu tavo. Don't blow the wind. Hold on. Tavo lefanecha tefilatenu. Our God and God of all generations, may our prayers reach your presence. And when we turn to you, do not be indifferent. Adonai, we are arrogant and stubborn, claiming to be blameless and free of sin. In truth, we have stumbled and strayed. We have done wrong.
Ay, 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 Ashamnu, Bagadnu, Gazalnu, Dibarnu Dolfi, ay, 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 Hevinu, Vehirshanu, Zadnu, Chamasnu, Tafalnu Shaker, Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 Atznura,
Ya'atzura,
Kizavnu,
Kizavnu,
Latznu,
La'atznu,
Maradnu,
Maradu,
Niatznu,
Ni'atznu,
Saranu,
Saranu,
Avinu,
Avinu,
Pashanu,
Pashanu,
Sararnu,
Saranu,
Kishinu Oref.
Kishinu Oreh.
Ay, 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 Rashanu,
Rashanu,
Shichatnu,
Shichatnu,
Tiavnu,
Ti'avnu,
Tainu,
Ta'inu,
Titanu.
Titanu.
Ay, 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 ay.
Together, of these wrongs we are guilty. We betray, we steal, we scorn, we act perversely. We're cruel, we scheme, we are violent, we slander, we devise evil, we lie, we ridicule, disobey, we abuse, we defy, we corrupt, we commit crimes, we're hostile, we're stubborn, we're immoral, we kill, spoil, we go astray, we lead others astray.
Ve'al kulam elos lichot selach lanu mechalanu kaper lanu ve'al kulam slichot, slach lanu mechalanu, slach lanu mechalanu, kaper lanu.
Please rise and turn to page 428. Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu Lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, Almighty and merciful, we have strayed and sinned before you.
Avinu Malkeinu, Ein Lanu Melech Ela Atah. Avinu Malkeinu, you are sovereign.
Avinu Malkeinu, Aseh Imanu Laman Shemecha.
Avinu Malkeinu,
act towards us as befits your name.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chadesh Aleinu Shana Tova.
Avinu Malkeinu, renew for us a year of goodness. Avinu Malkeinu, Zachor ki afar anachnu.
Avinu Malkeinu, remember, we are but dust
of earth.
here. Avinu Malkeinu, Tehei hasha'ah hazot, sha'at rachamim, ve'et ratzon milifanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, let this hour in your presence be a time of compassion and acceptance.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chamol Aleinu Va'al Ol Aleinu V'tapenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and our families. Avinu Malkeinu, aseh lama'an tvochim al yechudecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, act for the sake, slain for the devotion to you. Avinu Malkeinu, aseh laman harugim al shem kochecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, act for the sake of those killed because they were Jews.
Avinu Malkeinu, Aseh Laman Ve'esh Uvmayim Al Kidosh Shemecha.
For the sake of those who suffered fire and water to sanctify your name.
Avinu Malkeinu, chonenu v'anenu, ki ein banu masim, aseh imanu tzedaka v'chesed v'hoshienu.
Avinu Malkeinu, Almighty and merciful, answer us with grace,
for deeds are wanting. Save us through acts of justice and love.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu Evaneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu Evaneinu, Yeinu Lanu Emasim. Aseh Imanu, Tzedaka v'chesed. Aseh Imanu, Tzedaka v'chesed v'hoshienu. Aseh Imanu, Tzedaka v'chesed. Aseh Imanu, Tzedaka v'chesed v'hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu Evaneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu Evaneinu, Yeinu Lanu Emasim.
So it was the custom at this time of year to recall the temple in Jerusalem and the act of avodah, of being in worship and connection through the holy, the gathering of the people in Jerusalem at the temple itself, the offering of sacrifices by the priests, the rituals they would go through, recalling creation, in a sense, walking through Jewish history from this part of the service, from that moment of creation, through those who gave their lives that we would survive in the diaspora. We are on page 457.
Esainai Eleharim Me'ayin Yavo Ezri Sainai Eleharim Me'ayin Yavo Ezri Emeim Adonai Oseh Shamayim V'aretz Ezri Emeim Adonai Oseh Shamayim V'aretz Alai lai 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 alai lai 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 alai lai 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 alai lai lai alai lai 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 alai lai 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 ya lai 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 ay 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 lai 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 Ezri Adonai Oseh Shamayim V'aretz.
When God began to create heaven and earth, the earth being unformed and void, with darkness over the surface of the deep, and a wind from God sweeping over the water, God said, "Let there be light," and there was light.
Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz ve'aretz hayta tohu vavohu ve'choshech al penei tehom ve'ruach Elohim merachefet al penei hamayim vayomer Elohim yehi or vayehi or.
from creation to the expression of that connection to creation at the temple, the great temple in Jerusalem. We're on page 463.
By remembering the Mishkan and the temple, may we ascend toward the holy. Holiness. It entered the life of the Jewish people through the priests and their sacred service at God's altar. Said the Holy One to Moses, "Let them make me a sanctuary that I may dwell among them." Long ago, in a tent in the wilderness in the temples of Jerusalem, our ancestors reached for God through sacrificial offerings with bulls and goats and sheep, with grains and wine and oil. Say to the Israelite people, "These are the offerings of fire that you shall present to the Eternal."
So if you look around, this building is designed after that second temple in Jerusalem, coming up step by step into the main sanctuary. The architect Brown used the plans, his plans reflected that design of that temple, what we know of it. So here we are, imagine you're there, and we hope for a new light to shine upon us, Or Chadash.
Or Chadash Al Tzion Ta'ir Or Chadash Al Tzion Ta'ir ונזכה כולנו ונזכה כולנו נראה לאורו ונזכה כולנו ונזכה כולנו נראה לאורו יאללה לי 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 la la ya 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 la la ya la la ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 Or Chadash Al Tzion Ta'ir Or Chadash Al Tzion Ta'ir ונזכה כולנו ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו ונזכה כולנו ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו יאללה לי 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 יאללה לי יא 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 יאללה לי יאללה לי יאללה לי לי יאללה לי לה 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 יאללה לי לה 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 יאללה לי לה 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 ונזכה כולנו ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו ונזכה כולנו ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו.
On page 470, we read these words that describe the high priest's final confession on Yom Kippur. Within the Holy of Holies, the high priest spoke words of confession, first for himself and his family, then for the priests who served at his side, and finally for the whole community. His hands on the head of a bull, he confessed all their sins and his own. Nothing was concealed in his heart. Quietly, he spoke the 4 letters that form God's name. Quietly, so none would hear. For the holiest name was known only to him. Clear and pure were the high priest's confessions, a ladder for the soul seeking atonement.
So the priest would say, the Yevarechecha.
Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
Upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Shalom.
May God's countenance shine upon you, and may God always give you the blessing of shalom, the blessing of peace.
But the temple we know was destroyed. Sinat Chinam, the Talmud teaches, the hate amongst the Jewish people leads to that destruction. And yet the love the Jews felt for Judaism, they helped recreate and bring back this Judaism. Some of them, though, had to give their lives to keep the light of Torah alive. Ele Azkarah, these now we remember in this part of the service.
Ela, 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 Azkarah, v'nafshi alai eshbecha. 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 Ki v'launu zeidim, ki hu gabeli hafurcha. Ki v'launu zeidim, ki hu gabeli hafurcha. Beli hafurcha. Ela, 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 Azkarah, v'nafshi alai eshbecha. Ela, 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 Azkarah, v'nafshi alai eshbecha.
We're on page 520. Rabbi Akiva was one of the 10, a man of piety and humility, spiritual leader of the Jewish community in the land of Israel, supporter of the Bar Kokhba revolt against Rome that began in 132 CE, who openly defied the Roman decree against assembling in synagogues and teaching Torah. Of Akiva ben Yosef we are told, when the time came to say the morning Shema, the Roman executioners were combing Akiva's flesh with iron, and he said, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Evaed.
Hannah Senesh was a native of Budapest, Hungary, who made Aliyah to British Mandatory Palestine in 1939. 5 years later, having trained as a paratrooper, Senesh was one of 37 Jews who parachuted behind German lines in an attempt to rescue Hungarian Jews destined for Auschwitz. During her 3 months in Europe with partisan resistance fighters, she wrote the prayerful poem, "Blessed is the Match." It was her last. Captured and tortured, and having refused to blindfold, Hannah Senesh was executed by Nazi firing squads in 1944 at the age of only 23. She's buried in a special section of the military cemetery on Mount Herzl in Jerusalem, where the gravestones are arranged in the shape of a parachute.
So we hear the song of the partisans as we honor her memory.
You must not say that you now walk the final way, because the darkened heavens hide the blue of day. The time we've longed for will at last draw near, and our steps as drums will sound that we are here. From land all green with palms to land all white with snow, we now arrive with all our pain and all our woe. Where our blood came out and sprayed across the land, there our courage and our faith will rise and stand. Where our blood came out and sprayed across the land, there our courage and our faith will rise and stand. Sog niet kein Belos, du geiz im Lanzen Weg, wenn hielen blei en verstellen bloien Tag, weil kunnet noch unser ausgebänkte Show, es wird der Point, der unser treut mir sein do. Von grünen Palmenlands mit weißen Land von Schnee, wir seien da mit unser Pein, mit unser Weh, und wo gefallen sich das Spitz von unser Blut, wird das Spreuzt der unser Gwur, der unser Mut. Und wo gefallen sich das Spitz von unser Blut, wird das Spreuzt der unser Gwur, der unser Mut.
Amen. Finally, on page 530, we remember Yitzhak Rabin, and we're reminded that in our own day, we have those Jews who fought for peace for Jewish life, and also are heroes of such greatness, and then martyred. On November 4th, 1995, at a peace rally, Yitzhak Rabin, who had reached out the hand for peace, to make peace between Jews and Palestinians, was assassinated by a Jewish radical, murdered by an opponent for his plan of peace. A copy of this song, this words of hope, Shir L'Shalom, were found in his pocket. You must not remain indifferent.
צלול השמש לעלות, לבוקר להאיר, הזעקה שבתפילות אותנו לא תחזיר. מי אשר kabaneru uve'afanit man bechimar lo yahiru lo yachziru lechan Ishotanu lo yashiv מבוטח תתאפל, הלא יועילו לו שירי הניצחון, ולא שירי הלל. לכן רק שירו שיר השלום, אל תלחשו תפילה. לכן רק שירו של השלום וצעק הגדולה. שירו של השלום, אל תלחשו תפילה. לכן רק שירו של השלום וצעק הגדולה.
We live in times in which we might lose hope, but our people has never lost hope. We have held on to the tikvah, we've held into the light of holiness, and we kept bringing this Torah and this community of hope, not just for ourselves, but for others forward. So may we be inspired by these folks we remember today as we now go into our Yizkor service, and there be inspired by those upon whose shoulders we stand. Kenya Ritzon, Gamar Tov, everyone. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for braving outdoors. Thank you, our musicians, Yeshikoch, everybody, and our rabbis. We'll see you inside.